Welcome to This Week in Guns. This show is brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network and Patriot Patch Company. This podcast offers commentary on the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Jake Challen, president of FRN. You make this show possible. That's right. You simply click through our Amazon affiliate link the next time you're shopping online, and a small portion of your sale goes to supporting pro-gun shows like This Week in Guns. We have a great panel this week. We have John Patton of the Gun Collective and Patton Media Consulting. Hey, John.
Hey, Jake. How are you, buddy?
Going good. Brackett James, chairman, president of MASF. Hey, Brackett, what's up?
Not much. Chicken butt. How are you, Jake?
Good Lord, stop doing that. We have Nathan Schuth of Facts and Firearms, director of sales, marketing, and product management. And
hello.
And Adam Kraut, Esquire, will be joining us shortly. He's having some technical difficulties. He's from the Firearms Industry Consulting Group, a division of Prince Law Offices, PC. How's that Facebook Live feed looking? Can someone check on that?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now, dude.
Thank you. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Your discretion is advised, especially on live shows. Patriot Patch Company helps make this episode possible. As you can see, I'm wearing the Gotwood Mosin Nagant patch on my sweaty hat. And you can get your own Gotwood Mosin Nagant patch at patriotpatch.co. Also have the four rules of gun safety morale patch and stickers. And also the rock, paper, scissors, buckshot t-shirts. Check it out. Oh, and we have an echo on Facebook. I'm going to fix that right now. Top stories this week. South Carolina governor says the Second Amendment is your CCW.
So is that a constitutional carry thing? Is that what's happening?
Well, they're trying to pass constitutional carry right now. A bill's been introduced. The governor says he will sign it. But it's just kind of cool hearing that a governor of a state is like, yeah, hey, Second Amendment, that's your concealed carry permit, you know?
That's wonderful.
It's about time we've seen
a lot of states starting to move towards constitutional carry in recent months. That's kind of awesome.
What are we up to, like 18 or 19 now, right?
Oh, it's more than that, I think, isn't it? Let me look.
No, not that many.
No?
No.
I'm pretty sure.
I think
a few more passed recently. I thought it was like 18 or 19.
I don't think it's that many. It's
maybe 15. I don't know.
12. It's currently 12.
No way. Is it 12 only? Oh.
Well, for the longest time it was like 4. For years and years it was just 4. And then John's right, all of a sudden in the last few years it's exploded.
Which is phenomenal for us, thank God.
Absolutely. And then we have another positive story. U.S. forces launched record-setting number of airstrikes against ISIS in March, and mother of all bombs kills dozens of militants in Afghanistan, possibly more.
It's about time.
Moab.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's the hammer of God, basically.
You know what?
Awesome.
I saw a meme on Facebook, which of course we all do, but my favorite one was what the JTAC who called in and cleared hot the Moab looked like on the soft base. You know, you got to be walking around with a swagger.
Oh yeah.
I saw somewhere that they made like this was probably a meme and probably completely not true, but they made like 18 Moabs back in 2012, and they have an expiration date of 2018. So there was like, how many do you think Trump is going to use before they expire?
Yeah, we need to drop some of those on good old North Korea regime and get those people out of there.
Oh,
I don't have a problem with that.
That's a crappy shelf life. I mean, if it's only good for like 16 years.
I just got to be honest, I didn't know they had expiration dates.
Pretty much everything does, but most of the time for ordnance, it's a refurbishment date, not a retirement date. So you'd need to go through, check to make sure the vanes and the fins work, et cetera, et cetera. Sorry, I say that because Faxon makes a whole lot of bomb parts for the Air Force too. So
no way, I didn't know. Oh, that's really cool, man. That you guys do that.
Yeah.
You're now my favorite barrel maker. That just Got me a little hot.
Yeah, gun barrels are like one of the smallest things we actually drill. Giggity, giggity.
And the positive news brings us to the main topic. One police officer dead, another wounded in Paris attack. Paris is on fire yet again.
Yeah, I heard. You know what, dude? It's like, how many times they have to hit the same place over and over before those guys are going to wise up and step things up? And honestly, it's their government that's doing this, because one of my good friends, her husband's a federal law enforcement officer over in Brussels, and they're not allowed. He's an expert. He's a trainer. He's a certified marksman. He certifies all his guys. And at the end of the day, he has to take his Glock 19 that they issue. I think this is 17, put it in his desk drawer and lock it up. He's not even allowed to take it home with him, man. And that's why that kind of stuff goes on, because they're ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, retarded. Awful. Moving on to President Trump to address the NRA members at the annual convention, which all of us will be at here in about a week down in Atlanta, Georgia.
Uh-huh. Could you imagine being the Secret Service guy? Like,
I know, right?
There's so many guns. What do we do? What do we do?
So my understanding is that they're actually not allowing firearms into the hall or whatever where he's given the address.
That's correct. That's just standard procedure for the Secret Service. And they did it when it was candidate Trump last year too. So
oh, that's right. I remember seeing him walking around. That was interesting. Seeing him come into like the main exhibit hall, he wouldn't have a chance this year.
Oh yeah.
You know, because literally we were standing, when he came in, we were maybe 20 feet from him. I don't think you're going to get that close this year.
Nah, dude. Not a snowball's chance in hell.
I don't think the Secret Service would let him. Well, if they were given the option, they wouldn't let him.
Sure. And I mean, this is a really interesting thing for him to come to this event. This says a lot about what he's trying to do with the administration. I mean, I don't know, because I wasn't attending NRA annual meetings at the time when Bush was in, but this is obviously not a common thing for a president to come to.
The last president to do this was Reagan.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. They need to step it up. I'm glad Trump is at least taking some interest here.
I'd be real interested to see if his son is with him as well. I mean, this speaks volumes to firearms owners.
It does. It really does. I mean, it shows him, in a way, it shows him following through. He wasn't just there to get our votes.
Get the gun vote, right? No, I'm with you, brother.
He's there again this year.
Okay, but then sign an executive order or two, within your jurisdictional power. For example, you could actually sign an executive order that somebody is presumed to pass the background checks for NFA items at the point of sale. I don't know. Might do that, might not. So,
well, I think that part of the bigger issue, and this might not be the reason they're not doing that yet, is that the next president could just undo that executive order.
Yeah, that's true. To make something more lasting, more permanent. Yeah.
Okay, but that stopped previous presidents when, and I think 3 years at the very least of suppressor sales going quickly would be quite the nice thing for the market.
No, it would, but I don't know. Maybe we'll view it as not the right path.
I got to be honest. I don't want to see any more executive orders. I don't want to see any more overreach from the executive branch. I just want them to fix it. Make all that crap that these ridiculous regulations. They've been rolling stuff back. It's positive, but what's happening is they're putting legislation on top of legislation on top of legislation and making it more and more and more complex. And in 20 years, when we're trying to sort that bullshit out, it's going to be a nightmare. It's just going to get worse.
Yes, the libertarian in me is conflicted, but I really would like cans without having to go through the whole rigmarole. If I can take one way for now, I'll take it. So
I said, listen, if HPA goes through, I'm starting a suppressor company.
No,
it's simple.
I'll do it.
Everyone will start a suppressor company.
So that's okay. I'll get my chunk.
So will every other guy in his garage.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep, it'll be amazing.
John suppressors. All right. USMC vet could face prison time for illegally owned gun in illegal territory. He wandered into New Jersey. And
Okay, so I got mixed feelings about that one because we've already had 2 other people go through this. It's like, dude, don't people freaking pay attention, man? It's just kind of like when you go to the airport to travel, it's common sense to go through your luggage and make sure that you don't have any firearms in there. We went through this with the black lady that went through New Jersey, and Chris Christie pardoned her, and we, all the gun community went out and helped her, get her legal fund for this. We went through it with the person before that. I mean, this is like the 3rd dude in the last 3 years, man. I don't get it, man. I just follow the law. It sucks, but follow the law.
It's interesting. He wasn't pardoned. His sentence was commuted. So he's still guilty. He still has whatever the crime is on his record, which I really hope it's not a felony. Because if so, then he's barred from ever owning a firearm ever again. Poor bastard. But it's still something that,
as law-abiding citizens, we have to hold ourselves accountable. As law-abiding citizens, we abide the law, and that's all I'm saying. I mean, you know where you're going. I live next to 2 communist states, Washington D.C. and Maryland, and I don't take my guns there.
Yeah, but
I'm bordering them.
We're different. Everyone on this panel is completely different than the average gun owner. The average gun owner is pretty oblivious to things like this.
That's the problem. That's why we have. We're trying to get more education to people because they need to.
It's just the common car owner is oblivious on how to change their oil. It's. I don't know if it's ever going to change.
So to give the viewers, listeners a little bit of background, 6 years ago, this guy visited New Jersey, brought his legally owned handgun with him from Virginia. During the course of that night, one of his friends got involved in a fight, retrieved the gun, and quote unquote carried it into a confrontation with police. They arrested the friend and then arrested him for having brought an unregistered gun into the state. So this wasn't like he got caught with a gun, period. It's he got caught with a gun because his buddy decided to pull it out in a fight. So bad decisions all around.
He's lucky. He's lucky he got a pardon, I'd say.
Yeah, he did.
This happened 6 years ago. So this is, if I'm not mistaken, this is before some of these other cases.
You're right, John. It is
6 years ago. I mean,
you're right.
This is before that, and even then, I mean, let's be fair. The gun laws in New Jersey are stupid, but you also don't just like wander in there. Like you got to cross a bridge to get there. You know what I mean? That's how New Jersey is.
As gun owners, we have to hold ourselves to the higher standard.
Exactly.
And he definitely failed the rule of stupid.
Yes, he definitely did.
He went to stupid places with stupid people that did stupid things. I mean, that's the trifecta of dumb.
Yeah, I agree, Nathan. 100% with you.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
I mean, yeah.
All right, moving on to ATF. Southern California law enforcement officers may be illegally selling guns. ATF focus on firearm sales by police. Maybe
were we supposed to be shocked by this headline?
So the ATF is doing something that's not okay? Hold on.
No. ATF is saying that Southern California law enforcement are doing something.
But didn't
something
the ATF traffic a bunch of guns into Mexico that ended up killing a bunch of Americans? I mean,
nothing. Brian Terry, Fast and Furious. Yep.
Nothing to see there. Move along. No, this is a case of California law enforcement officers can buy guns off the civilian register. So they're law enforcement approved only guns. From my understanding, they can buy them there. Other people can't, but
because
they can
they're
then
above the law.
resell them to the common citizen in California. So some of these law enforcement officers are kind of acting as a dealer.
Yeah,
so this
basically.
is essentially laundering illegal guns. Is that what I'm getting?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, think about it this way: like the Blue Gun program, those cops can get, a retail Glock that's usually $575 for like $300, and if they wanted to turn around and sell it for $500, it'd be like basically the same thing.
Though, they're selling a firearm that is legal for any civilian to own in their jurisdiction. In the case of California, they're selling a firearm that is illegal in their jurisdiction. Rightly or wrongly, as much as we may all disagree with the definition, the fact of the matter is the legal requirement is being violated. And the second piece is, if you go by the definition of being an FFL, if you sell something for the purpose of intending a profit, you are engaged in the business of, and they are therefore unlicensed dealers. Which, where's the lawyer here? We need him to chime in and correct me. But
that is actually from this week's episode, where you do need an FFL.
Pesky.
In silence.
Pesky FFLs. Gabby Gifford's California school shooting shows California gun control is insufficient. This happened last week. We didn't talk about it, but I think it happened in San Bernardino, where a I guess jilted lover came and shot his wife. I think it was his wife for like 6 months or something.
Well, let's actually talk about what happened. He came armed to a school that has clearly posted everywhere, gun-free zone and no guns allowed. He walked past that sign. Somehow the magical force field that sign emits, he managed to bypass it. I don't know how that happened, and went in the school and murdered her. So yeah, I don't know. That sign was supposed to stop him. That's what they told us that does. It makes it sacred ground of gun-free, and it didn't work. I don't know what's going on there. So I thought that was interesting.
Well, and he allegedly used a revolver. So I think she's saying, let's ban all handguns.
they're using heinous incidents that we all abhor for political gain. I know, shocker, right? But what's interesting is that they're now being used in twofold. One, to try and lobby for more firearms laws. But to me, the more interesting piece is that it's the attack on firearms and social culture relating to firearms. By demonizing everything, they're trying to attack, the social acceptability of guns, which is ultimately what we're fighting, not the legal rules, which is a symptom more so of the larger problem.
But like I said, the way that they would tell and the way they preach that narrative, Nathan, is that it's a gun-free zone, so people are going to abide by that. And that's this continues. We have continued showing that that's a fallacy, and they never acknowledge it. And the media never says it. They're out right there. I know, but I wish they would just be unbiased and honest for once. One of the camera guys was 10 feet away from the gun-free sign. You could see it in the background. What I would just love for one of them to actually be honest and say, hey, swing the camera over here. You see the sign? It's gun-free. And look, this happened today. I would just one time, just once. I would even love to go get a job at a news agency just so I could go and preach the truth one time.
I think it's interesting that they're trying to pit this as a school gun control thing.
Right? It's a quote-unquote school shooting.
Yes.
It's not a school shooting. It's a murder.
He went there to murder that woman, his old lover.
Yeah, right?
That was it.
I don't know.
Right, and the torture definition that they're trying to use to spin things. I mean, you had a gang shooting 50 feet off the front of a school, and that was counted as a school shooting.
Right.
And to us, that just defeats their credibility. But the problem is, as we talked about, there's so many gun owners who don't understand the carry laws across all different states. There's so many people who are uneducated about what those definitions are and just take them at face value. And that's unfortunate.
It really is. And that's why we continue, and all of us need to continue to preach education and make sure us fellow gun owners are held to a higher standard and are educated.
Absolutely. Fresno gunman wanted to kill as many white people as possible, says the police chief. So originally it was said that this was it said that he had been screaming Allah Akbar during this arrest and everything, and now they're like, oh, no, he was a racist, he wanted to kill white people, it has nothing to do with the Muslim religion. And then you see the guy's name, Corey Ali Muhammad.
Oh, I've got even a better one for you, and this abhorred me. John, I was sitting there and I literally almost threw up. On Channel 7 News, they said that the guy was shouting, "Glory be to God." They translated the Arabic of Allahu Akbar to "Glory be to God." That's how far the news is going with this stuff now. I literally jumped out of my own skin. I could not
mirror John's face.
It was insane. I'm serious. I mean, if that's not trying to, guys, I mean, how much more perverted can the media get? I mean, don't say Allahu Akbar, whatever you do. So the actual Arab translating of Allahu Akbar is glory be to God. So say he was running around shouting, Jim Vance, a newsman on channel whatever for 30 years. That's what he did, dude. I was like, yep, dude, you are just a puppet, just like the rest of these guys, man. You don't care about proper journalism.
Yeah.
Pledge your support for this show. You can pledge your support for This Week in Guns by going to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can pledge at the after show level to hang out with us after the show. And you can also pledge for as little as $6 a month just to support pro gun radio like This Week in Guns. Head on over to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. 10 of the most expensive firearms sold at the latest James D. Julia auction.
This stuff is amazing.
Drool. Drool.
All
I
right.
mean, FG42s. Mic drop.
So for those that are unaware, James DeJulia, they are up in Maine, I think.
Yep.
I think that's where it is. And it's like the most world-renowned firearms auction. And they have some of the most amazing guns. It's never like you go in and there's a bunch of high points. It's all like very top end, classic collector items. That's all they do.
Yeah, between them and Rock Island.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Gun Jesus gets into that and is able to show, especially all the rare guns that go through that don't get a lot of press. But yeah, and for example, you have a number one is a Colt single army action revolver.
Yep, I'm looking at that right now. $500,000, dude.
$1,000.
Insane.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's valuable because it was the only proven one to be used at the Battle of Little Bighorn.
Mm-hmm. Piece of
you look
American
at
history. Yep.
the engraving on these. I mean, it's just phenomenal examples of craftsmanship.
Oh yeah.
I've never even heard of these shotguns, and I'm looking at the craftsmanship. It's unbelievable. It's like somebody took a photograph and just laid it on the receiver, but it's all hand engraved,
Which is
unreal. And then of course the FG42. I mean, that's a gun I've never fired, and it's a bucket list for me. There's nothing like it. And of course, it's what's also very interesting is the proliferation of lever guns. You know, we don't really see them in massive numbers like we used to, but literally, what is this? I would say a good portion, I don't know, maybe half or more of this list is lever actions, from like classic Winchesters and things of that nature.
Yep. Model 86s, Model 76s.
Old 1894 takedown.
Oh.
In 44 Henry rimfire. You don't see those every day.
I'm going to beseech the audience to buy more barrels so I can buy one of these. Thank you.
and number 10 is a gun that I didn't think would be all that special. It's a 1911 A1 made by Singer, which I guess that's the key, is that it's made by Singer. And again, for those that are unaware, back in the day when the U.S. military needed firearms, they would spin up everybody to make them. So you had companies that would make sewing machines making guns instead. They would literally come in and basically take over your business and go, you're making guns now. So they would change everything and then they would make them. Well, this is the Singer Manufacturing Company, and they made a little over 500 of these 1911s. This one is in what appears to be mint condition, and it sold for just over $80,000.
That's amazing. I had no idea that Singers could go that high. That's wow.
You should see what some of the auctions are for the old sewing machines.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Daisy becomes the official BB gun of the Boy Scouts and Partnership Program.
That's interesting.
That's unfortunate. I would have preferred it be a rimfire rifle guy, but hey, you know,
Well, if
it's
they
a
gotta
growing
have
gun
a-
culture.
If you got to have a BB gun, it might as well be a Daisy.
That's true. Yeah.
So this partnership is gonna make possible Daisy's inflatable air gun ranges to be available at 274 local BSA councils as well as scout camps.
Awesome.
You know, and if that gets them started shooting, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on to Chris coughs up featureless vector rifles for California.
These are hilariously amazing.
What?
So imagine somebody took a Chris Vector and then they just wrapped Kydex around the pistol grip and made the stock fixed. That's what this is. That's it. It's literally just like a paddle that's been attached to the grip.
Oh, don't forget the fake suppressor barrel looking thingy.
Yeah, but that's standard on their 16-inch guns.
Oh,
I guess that's illegal, like to have scary, fake suppressors in California. I don't know, man. This is the most non-California compliant gun I've seen.
I mean, at least you've got a bevy of pretty colors. You can get white one, go full stormtrooper. I mean, it won't hit anything, but
I do like the white one. I got to be honest. I like that.
Yeah, it's the best looking one in the picture, and the flat dark earth coming in next. I don't really care for the army green one,
but what shade of flat dark earth is that?
That's very true. Tan coyote.
That kind of looks like baby poop to me.
Well,
color I'm all too familiar with. Gun controllers advertise bulletproof hoodies for students on campuses. So the unsuccessful Cox Not Glocks campaign is now running a satirical commercial selling bulletproof hoodies in air quotes.
It's so ridiculous, man. These people just need to get a life, dude, and stop wasting existence of air.
I thought they had hit a low when, they were walking around with dildos instead of Glocks, but it shows that you can hit rock bottom and find a jackhammer.
These people still have no pride, no decency to them whatsoever.
Guns, shells seized from 65-year-old man for improper storage. This happened in Massachusetts. Police impounded 98 firearms and a number of shells for being improperly stored.
It just kills me looking at this photo. He gets hit for quote-unquote improper storage, but yet I see how those firearms are going to be transported.
Yeah, they have a tie strap down in the back of the pickup.
But you got some amazing. I'm seeing what looks like a Remington rolling block, a original Browning A5. A couple Mausers thrown in there. It's like, oh my god, this is a nice collection, and this is literally going to go beating around in the back of a pickup truck.
Destroyed.
And then it's going to be stored outside in a police impound lot and rained on. Guarantee it.
You know what else is amazing? The fact that Massachusetts dictates how you store your guns. I was talking to Matt DeVito about this, and he said that basically if the cops come to your house for some crazy reason, you open the door and they can see a gun somewhere, even if you legally own it, even if you had just taken it out to clean it, and you stepped away and they saw that gun, you could be arrested because it's not in the safe.
Are you serious? That's our
holding a firearm when a policeman comes to the door is a good idea.
Massachusetts is not a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, to continue insulting the police here, I'd like to also understand the history of why they have all the guns in the pickup truck and what looks to be a street sign. Was that illegally stored too?
We're taking this too because I really like it.
Probably knocked down on the ground.
I guarantee it. The Massachusetts has a law that you cannot own public street signs.
Amazing.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, moving on to officer who shot autistic man's therapist in standoff has been charged. I put this back in here because we actually commented on this when it happened. So this autistic adult, he was a 27-year-old autistic man, but he has an IQ of 40, nonverbal, requires 24-hour supervision. He wandered away from his care center or wherever, and this caretaker followed him, kept an eye on him, and tried to get, the whole time was trying to get him back to go back to the care center, and it just wouldn't do it. And this autistic man ended up sitting down and kind of the roadway, I guess. And then the police show up and things escalate. And what we didn't hear before was that several officers moved within 15 feet of the two to actually talk to them, see what was going on. And they realized, there wasn't a threat going on because someone had called in, someone has a gun to their head or something.
Yeah, I remember that was the issue.
And the autistic guy had a toy semi truck.
Right.
And it's like silver, shiny. So, oh my God, it looks like a gun. And, but anyways, so during this quote unquote standoff, police officers were within 15 feet. They made verbal communication with the caretaker and realized what was going on. And they called a code to stand by, stand down. But then about 30 seconds after they called that code, this police officer fired 3 shots from his Colt M4. And this guy was like hundreds of feet away so he was not only shooting at this caretaker, he was shooting in the same direction that his fellow officers were.
Again,
who were just 15 feet.
152 feet. So doing my math here real fast. That means 50 yards. Okay. How did you miss a man-sized target at 50 yards in a non-stressful shooting situation? So 1, idiot. 2, shooting their other fellow officers, really big idiot. Fired 3 shots, no less. Larger idiot. Most officers, we always say that, are wonderful people. This guy's an idiot.
So he's getting attempted manslaughter and negligence.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, moving.
Responsible for every round that leaves the gun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
Well, I'm offended. Somebody's offended here. I'm not necessarily offended. We're to the I'm offended section. So let me pull this one out. We already covered that.
But what about Sky?
Did I skip one?
Non-importante. Continue.
New PBS Kids series called. Okay, let me say that again. PBS Kids series titled "Dying to Be a Martyr" explores the struggle of being a terrorist.
You know what, man? I hate to be this guy, but it's on Milo Yiannopoulos' site.
Yeah, this is a little hyperbolic. It's PBS via PBS Learning, so it's an actual intended documentary. Now, whether or not we agree with the film itself, which, okay, but if the intent is to show people what the mentality is and to help us understand our enemy, heck yeah, show it to kids. Show it to intelligent people who are growing up and forming their own opinions in the world. If it's a propaganda piece, which again, I've not seen it, it should go to somewhere and burn a... Yeah.
Remember when PBS had Mr. Rogers on it?
Oh yeah, I watched it every day when I was a kid. That and Sesame Street.
Why can't we go back to those days?
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would just like things of that nature. Maybe some Bob Ross.
Bob Ross was good. Yep.
I don't know if that was PBS or not, but I still want him there.
Yeah, it was. Missouri School of Journalism professor says NRA no more, he says NRA is more dangerous than the Islamic State.
I love how they just make stuff up and and they just pull stuff out of their butts and throw it on the wall and see if it sticks. I love that.
It's dangerous because I don't understand it, and I'm going to throw a temper tantrum about it.
Exactly, dude.
No. He's completely logical. He says only 9 Americans have been killed by terrorists up to I don't know, some point in history, and that 11,736 Americans are murdered each year with guns. So nobody basically gets murdered by terrorists.
fault.
So it's the NRA's fault.
Because inner city violence is the fault of the NRA, which
Exactly.
they don't touch the inner city ever. Ask anyone from the NRA. They can't. They
but
really
NRA likes those evil gun shows that the inner city goes to get all their guns. Right? That's their line.
I'm speechless.
Contribute to the Firearms Radio Network and This Week in Guns by shopping our Amazon affiliate link. You can shop by clicking the Amazon banners on the website, or you can bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. You can shop Amazon like I know you already do, and also support Pro Gun Radio like This Week in Guns. Firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. We're to the full auto news segment here. These are stories the real media won't talk about and other crazy stuff. Each of the hosts picks a story to call their own. Nate, I see you're all set. What do you got?
Oh, so I have an article that was posted on American GG, pardon me. And basically it is a warning and fortunately not too graphic example of what happens when you interfere with your gun's action with a hand. So basically, somebody was going to go to unload and show clear, as common in most competition circuits, etc. And during the unloading process, put his hand over the ejection port, not just to catch the bullet, literally over the ejection port. The round got caught in the slide going forward, which hit the primer and caused a catastrophic detonation. And I'm sure we all can unfortunately imagine what a exploding case does to a human hand. So I agree. There's nothing more satisfying than running a stage well, racking it to the rear and catching that round in the midair, but you're not running the risk of detonating a primer. What he did was unfortunately stupid, and he paid the price.
It is unfortunate.
But can I look cool and catch my bullet ejecting?
Yeah, just don't put your hand over the ejection port. You know, heaven forbid, use common sense when operating firearms.
Again, what's the theme of tonight? Proper education with firearms, guys. Holding people accountable.
Baraka?
Stop making common sense, Baraka. Stop.
I know, unfortunately. Incredibly loud sex interrupts a Florida tennis match. So apparently...
You sure it wasn't Serena Williams playing?
How the hell did this get in there?
They were in Sarasota opened on Tuesday night, and the match was interrupted by a couple having sex across the way. So they were in an apartment with the window up, and you know, tennis matches are like golf matches. They're notoriously quiet as the guy's going to serve. So as the guy's like getting the ball ready to serve, all he hears is it is the audio on it in the video is hilarious because his face is just it's good stuff.
Although I remember seeing an article a couple of years back where people were complaining about women's tennis as the women were grunting and continuing to grunt excessively louder and louder. So I don't know, maybe they were showing off.
It's just funny. People are too sensitive and always sensitive about sex. They need to stop. Where Americans are too uptight about sex.
I want to sit there and enjoy my tennis without excessive female grunting. Come on.
See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Too many wusses. What did Conan said? We like to hear the lamentations of the women. See? Exactly. Too many betas.
All right. Apparently John went to make some tea or something, so I guess I'll go next here. Oops, police impersonator pulls over Miami-Dade police detective.
Yes, this is awesome.
That,
I love it. That's exactly what you want to happen. I mean, it's perfect, dude.
He was driving down Interstate 95. He was driving a Ford Crown Victoria, as you would if you're impersonating a police officer. He pulled up behind the detective's vehicle and activated police sirens, causing the detective to change lanes. Police said the suspect continued to follow the detective, so the detective pulled over to the shoulder of the road.
You have to love it.
And the detective, who was in full uniform,
Can you imagine what that guy must have thought when he saw that? I know. realized what he was dealing with, and
Yeah, he arrested the perp and searched his vehicle, finding an H&K BB gun replica.
Oh my gosh!
Which,
Where do these space cadets come from?
Yeah.
I mean,
Where is that mentally acceptable?
I don't. Has he been sitting in his mom's basement watching Sci-Fi Channel all his life? And he's like, "I want to go. Hey, mom, can you order me a BB gun for Christmas?" And I'm gonna go out and impersonate a police officer. I just don't get it, man.
Order me a BB gun and a blue police light for Christmas, please.
Oh, Lord, have mercy.
I mean, if you're going to watch sci-fi, at least get a P90 with respect to Stargate, guys. I mean, come
Exactly.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, but you got to get the long, stupid barrel unless you SBR it.
Well, he could. He's in Florida.
Calm down, O'Neill. Calm down. Indeed, O'Neill. Indeed.
So well played, sir.
Wait. Bracken, tell me
Yes.
you've gone as Teal'c for Halloween.
No, but I would love to. That's a good
come
idea.
on.
I think I will.
You'd be perfect.
I never thought of that. You're right. I would have been. I'll do it.
I mean, all you need to do, put a little gold thing on the front of your head.
Exactly. I'm ready to rock and roll. I know. You're right. It's true.
All right, John, what do you got?
Sorry, it was auto playing a video. I didn't catch what we already covered.
Oh, we're in full auto already. So what,
I know.
Did you pick something up?
No, I didn't. But I was just watching this police using the drone with a public address system on it to speak directly to troublemakers from the skies. And I think it's hilarious that this is going to happen. Now it's no. I think this is a really bad thing because now they're completely invading your privacy. Screw it. Let's put a drone up and let's shout at people from the drone. Listen to me. I can't get near you, so I'm going to put a drone in the sky and throw a temper tantrum because you won't listen. And I can't do my job properly.
Doesn't everybody watch APB? Aren't they equipped with little stun rounds?
Oh God.
Okay.
I think it's going to get to a point where it's just going to get bad with drones and stuff. I don't know that this is even in the States, but it's possible.
No, you're right, John. I mean, those friends of mine who fly drones overseas right now, and were telling me that that's coming here. I mean, they've been telling me for a while. So
that's the problem. It's too cost effective for the benefit from the perspective of the police, not the perspective of us liberty-minded citizens.
That's correct.
Well, it's a good thing I know how to shoot a shotgun really well.
Hey, you know what? The firearms industry did come up with drone killing rounds already.
Yes, they have. All kinds of good ones.
I'd be shocked if they actually work properly. But this was actually in Chile. So to be fair, it's not in the States. But this kind of crap really irks me.
Well, it is the next step. I mean, look at all the inner city projects and stuff like that right now where they have full 24-hour surveillance, facial recognition software, et cetera, and all those really, and just so happens those places are all Democratic strongholds, but who's counting? I'm expecting drones to be there next. That's going to be the first place that they...
Yeah, because, more policing is going to solve the problem of the neighborhoods not policing themselves.
You're got it.
All right, we have time for a second round here. Does anyone have another story?
I'll go with the 16-year-old student expelled for entire year over water gun. I don't know if I even need to summarize this. The headline of the article took care of it.
Yeah.
What state?
Does it matter?
It just, we've had several of these stories, and it's from... A lot of times they're from more conservative states. Like I think the last one was like South Carolina or something.
Oh man, it's Alabama. You were right.
Wow.
And come on, massive overreaction. Anybody? I mean, I thought we always operated off of punishment fits the crime and common sense being a common virtue, but
common sense is not so common, dude.
Oh, that hurts my head. Or not only that, it's claimed. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go.
Okay, I'm taking this one. Apparently, Fabio is buying a gun after more than $200,000 in gold coins, watches, and have been stolen from his home.
Fabio's a nut anyway. I remember they did a documentary on that dude, and he had like 300 dirt bikes, like crammed in like a warehouse. And he was like, these are all mine. And from what I could see, I'm not a dirt bike connoisseur like he is. They all look pretty much the same to me, dude. And yeah, they were just regular dirt bikes, not street legal, nothing. Like stacked on top of each other. You couldn't even get to them, like walk between them.
He said burglars lifted his 200-pound safe off the floor, even though it was bolted down. The safe contained over $120,000 in gold coins and
I was roused by Hercules.
I think what's really interesting, though, did you guys read the last 2 paragraphs of this article? He's got a very interesting perspective, one that's shared by a lot of people. He said, the police are the ones who serve us, not the criminals. We have to take a stand. We have to help the police. Okay, yep, help that. But then he adds, the police right now are demoralized. They are like, why should I stop some criminal and risk my life?
True.
And then maybe get into trouble with the law because the law is now on the side of the criminal. Well, he's in California, but...
Well, he's smart, because it's true in a lot of places right now.
I don't know. Every time I hear Fabio, I think of, wasn't he involved in an incident on a roller coaster where he got hit in the face by like a goose or something?
All I know is he's Mr. Romance Novel King. I mean, he's the king of all romance novels with his flowing blonde hair and his nose and his whatever. That was his like spiel. Like they draw him in a caricature and everyone would recognize him because of his nose and his hair. So that was his deal, his claim to fame.
I can't believe it's not butter. Spoil.
Yeah, that's right, dude. I totally forgot. Yep. Yep. Sure enough, John. Good call, man.
Watched a lot of TV when I was a kid. So I've got one. Fort Mill man, South Carolina, facing 22nd felony charge in another pizza delivery armed robbery. So at what point do we decide that this dude just needs to stay in prison? 22nd felony charge. Not like, oh, he's just a dick.
So
he's just doing bad stuff.
I want to know, are all 22 pizza delivery robberies?
I hope so.
That's a good question. And it wouldn't surprise me if they were, honestly.
You got the Hamburglar, was the Ham Pizza?
Right.
Wow.
I'm here all night.
I mean, this couldn't get any better. It's really just a story of how terrible the justice system is, and our prison system is a failing, miserable piece of junk.
So, how willing are we to go into picking off fanboys?
Fanboys of what?
The Serpa holster.
Oh, those idiots?
All right. So, as many of us knew years ago, while a fantastic system, FLETC, which is the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center out of Smyrna, Georgia, awesome place to go, by the way, if y'all ever get the chance, basically have determined that the Serpa, which is designed to keep the finger straight and off the trigger, really doesn't. And in 25% of draw strokes, they put their finger on the trigger. Oops.
27%.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah, it took 4 separate incidents, which, okay, once coincidence, twice, yeah, there's a couple idiots. 3, yeah, maybe we should look at this. 4, oh, this is a problem, eh? And yeah, they said the resulting research discovered that the user's trigger finger ended up proximal to the trigger on it, 25% of the draw strokes.
So that's a bad idea, is what you're saying.
Well, you know what? To slightly defend the Serpa, the concept itself, which is to force you to put your finger in a certain spot to disengage, is intelligent. Is it purely the execution of the Serpa in which the button is smack dab in the middle of the trigger or the trigger guard that could be the problem? For example, in most tactical training, you're now taught keep your finger straight and up and off the trigger. Could you move the paddle and solve a lot of the problem? Something to think about.
I think that company's bent on not admitting that there's a problem with their holster.
I've seen a lot of interesting kind of spins on the Serpa in recent months. Most notably, there was one that forced you. It was like a Israeli carry holster. Essentially, you had to push the gun forward in order to retrieve the gun out of the holster, and in that motion, I guess you would chamber around.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
And I thought that was very strange.
Press down and pull back, and you can carry
that's how you
Israeli
got the
stuff.
gun out.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think a concept like that, where if you combined a quick push-pull motion, I think that concept would be interesting if they could get the lock mechanism to work properly. But a lot of the problems that people run into is in these panicked situations, they tend to fail to remember things like that. And that's why a classic Kydex or leather holster, just yanking the thing out is such a good thing. It's a one-step process. There's no push and then pull. It's pull. That's it.
I think that absolutely works for concealed carry, or in many cases open carry for those who choose to do that. But I understand police are trying to ensure at the very least level 2 retention, so that when you can't just pull the gun out. That's, I think, the problem. So the Serpa is one solution to it. Safariland is obviously very well respected for their designs, because they use typically thumb-based ones where you're getting a high grip on the gun. Yeah,
it's phenomenal. The Safariland one. Mm-hmm.
But that's where I wonder here, Black Hawk, if you're listening, free design help, move it up. So when you force somebody to pull from the draw stroke, your finger is off the trigger and you have to physically move it back down to actually engage the trigger. And so you are not, quote unquote, proximal.
Exactly.
Do you think, go ahead, Jake.
No, John, go ahead.
Do you think that Black Hawk is so invested in their current design that they won't change?
Yeah, because it's in an injection molded holster. Because if it is, then
I'm more so talking about like the we're not wrong. This has been right for this many years. Okay. We're Black Hawk. We don't do anything wrong, because a change would be admission of guilt, so to speak.
Right, and then the negligence. They could get sued for negligence at that point if they admitted it too.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
If I'm sitting here on the company side, you just release version 2.0. You don't say anything. Right. You don't admit anything. Let's just release the next version when, the next Glock generation's coming up here, kind of the biggest, secret out there. Why not say, hey, for this new one, come to Gen 3 and we'll work on the, fill in the legacy designs previously. But that's the other piece of injection molded designs, is you can change the mold for relatively little cost, generally speaking.
So isn't Black Hawk and Uncle Mike's under the same parent company? I'm thinking they just moved the Serpa onto Uncle Mike's and be done with it.
Right. Take the heat off of them.
He shot himself, but it's an Uncle Mike's, so you had it coming.
Yeah. Well, no,
is that a Vista Outdoor company? I'm looking now.
That is a great question.
Yes, Black Hawk is. I don't know about Uncle Mike's. I'm digging.
I remember an article that the previous owner of Black Hawk has started another gear company. That was a few months ago. But that would make sense. If you're Vista Outdoor and you have a very nice big bank account for people to sue, I wouldn't say anything. But that's unfortunate. I hope companies will put shooter safety first, which is what we try to do, what we try to do every day. So, but still, release a new version. But on the flip side, you can always tell somebody that the fact that your finger went onto the bang switch wasn't the holster's fault. It was your training fault. Same way that Glock can argue that when a pistol or when a police officer is negligent discharge, that's not our issue. The weapon functioned exactly as intended. You're an idiot.
So I'd just like to point out that Vista Outdoor, the same company that owns Black Hawk, owns a company called Rascals, which makes children's bike helmets, and I happen to own their unicorn one, and I'd just like to give a shout out to Rascals for the sweet unicorn helmet. Thanks.
And they do own Uncle Mike's as well.
They do. Okay, you confirm.
Black Hawk, Uncle Mike's, all under the same umbrella.
There you go.
But
Which is they also own Federal and ATK and
Mhm.
a lot of well-known brands within the industry.
tons.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, tons. But are you talking about Bell?
No, there's a separate company called Rascals.
Rascals.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I see it. So Rascals, if you'd like to support This Week in Guns, sure as hell know that Black Hawk and Uncle Mike's ain't gonna.
Although the irony that Rascals is next to a brand called quite literally Crash is not lost on me.
Both
Rascals,
helmet companies for little children.
Nice.
What do you have? Oh, it's a helmet made by a company called Crash.
Crash helmet. That's awesome. You can't get any better than that, dude.
I
Cannot
bet the
get
guy
any
that invented the Serpa started that company.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
So you can pledge your support for this train wreck of a show by going to firearmsradio.tv/pledge. You can pledge for as little as $5 per month, or you can pledge at the after show level and hang out with us after the show. Patriot Patch Company also helps make this episode possible. Head on over and check out the Patch of the Month Club. We've just put up the new May exclusive patch. There's some enrollment slots open, not very many. So if you want to get in on the Patch of the Month Club, now is the time to do it. PatriotPatch.co. This is the part of the show where we see what these guys are up to and where you can connect with them online. Hey, Nate, what's up over at Faxon, and where can people connect with you guys?
Connect with us at www.faxonfirearms.com. Don't forget that. We have lots of new things coming up. Unfortunately, I can't talk about much of it right now, but we'll be able to this time next week at the NRA show. So hopefully, or please stop on by, say hi. I'll be there, and look forward to seeing everybody.
Please come up with creative questions to ask Nate over at the Faxon booth.
We have a few Ask Us Anything threads floating around, and there are a few very smart people who ask us some very good questions, and a lot of not so smart. But hey, we love everybody.
John, what's up? Where can people connect online?
Nothing. I quit forever. So next week is the Gun Collective panel presented by NRA on Saturday, April 29th at 1 p.m. in the Georgia World Congress Center at the NRA annual meeting. It's going to be incredible. We've got a ton of companies supporting, tons, I think upwards of 10 to 15 guns. I want to say closer to 10 guns being just given away. All you have to do is show up and participate. You're going to get a ticket as soon as you walk in the door that could get you any number of awesome guns. We've got guns from Faxon. We're doing a rifle from those guys. That's going to be a really cool one. It's going to be, as far as I'm aware, it's going to be a one-off, which is even more special. We've got something, rifle from Adams Arms. We've got one from Daniel Defense. We've got a handgun from Hudson. They're giving away an H9, and I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting. There's going to be a case from Gemtech, a case of 22 long rifle, 5,000 rounds, all given away. A whole bunch of different holster companies got involved. No, not Black Hawk. These are actually really, really a bunch of good companies got involved. And I apologize because I haven't wrapped my head around everything just yet. However, it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff given away, and literally all you have to do is walk in the room and come hang out and ask questions of the panelists. To give you guys a rundown, it's myself, Adam Kraut, Tim from Military Arms, Eric and Chad from IV8888, Mr. Guns and Gear, Jeremy from T-Tag, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody because I forget. Oh, Whitey from Four Guys Guns is also going to be there. I believe that's it. But anyway, it's going to be a whole bunch of your favorite video gun guys doing their thing. And, I would love if you're out there and you watch the videos on a semi-regular basis and you enjoy the content, come out, support, have a good time. It's going to be incredible. And if you can't make it, if you're on the other side of the country, we are going to be live streaming it all over Facebook. It's going to be shared everywhere, so you will be easy. It'll be easy to find, and yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome.
Speaking of hanging out, that Friday night, we're going to be having the Firearms Radio Network, This Week in Guns, We Like Shooting, and the Gun Collective listener meetup over at the Park Bar. It's like 2 blocks from the convention center. You can just walk right there. And we got the whole top level reserved. It's like our own private bar.
This is very dangerous to my liver.
And so hope to see you there. It's going to be 6 p.m. Friday, April 28th. So it's going to be the night before the Gun Guy panel. So try to, not indulge too much.
Don't get too hammered. There is talk of a shock collar that may or may not happen. I'm just saying.
Multiple shock collars.
So if you want to see the guys from We Like Shooting get shocked, I'm just saying be there. That's all I got to say. Just be there.
I just want to see Jeremy shocked.
I think that's what everybody wants to see. Let's shock Jeremy till he urinates on himself
again.
The problem is, did they make shock collars strong enough to actually make him do that? I mean, he's huge.
I don't know. I mean, tasers don't do much to the dudes on meth, so we'll see what happens with Jeremy.
I thought Jeremy that he made in his backyard, dude. Exactly. That's totally Jeremy.
So check it out. The FRN Gun Collective fan meetup is going to be Friday, April 28th, 6 p.m. Can't wait to see you guys there. Park Bar, Upper Room. That's at 150 Walton Street, Atlanta, Georgia. Real easy to get to. Go on over to the Firearms Radio Network Facebook page and sign up for the meetup there. There's a Facebook events. You can say, hey, I'm going to this. Braca, what's up? Where can people connect online?
I won't say it, so I won't say chicken butt, but they can connect online at www.masf.co, and we would love for you guys to come by, check out what we're about. We on every Wednesday night here on FRN, we have our own show called CCR, Civilian Carry Radio. Thanks to Jake's graciousness, we started our show probably we just did the 8th episode, so our 9th. I'm sorry, we were 9 weeks. This past Wednesday, yesterday, we had Chris Costa on. It was a fantastic show. He had taken a hiatus away from shooting for a little bit, and he's back on out there training people again in the community. And then next week we have Mike Green from Green Ops on, and behind him Tatiana Whitlock. So it's been going really well. It's really helping our charity, MASF, which is dedicated to regular law-abiding citizens, firearm safety education, training, and proper mindset. And with these guys, in our corner to help us spread the word of people getting properly educated, it's really been a huge drive, and we've been getting good following because unlike most of the other podcasts that are related to training and things, it's not about us. It's about the trainers getting the word out to people to try to encourage them to understand some of the points and reinforce the points that we make, which is you and only you are responsible for your own personal safety and protection. We have this God-given right of the Second Amendment, and people need to understand and exercise that. And there's no reason that you can't go out and get the proper education to be safe with a firearm, to protect your own home and the people you love and care about. So please go by and support our efforts. Check out our show. And again, it's masf.co, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate what you guys are doing, Braca. It's awesome. Awesome guests. Some of the best in the industry.
Thank you.
So let's close this out. You can head on over to iTunes, leave us a review there. You can also leave us feedback comments on the bottom of the Facebook video, bottom of the YouTube video, or you can also contact us through firearmsradio.tv. Contribute to the show using our Amazon affiliate link. And that about wraps us up. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate it.
Good night.
Thank you, John.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Braca.
It is my pleasure. I will see you guys at NRAM on that Saturday.
That's a wrap. We'll see you actually next week, since it is NRAM. We will not see you next week. We will see you in 2 weeks with news from the NRA show, possibly a new clock. We'll see. That's a wrap.
It's happening.